The restaurant that refused AI and the one that didn't. Two restaurants, same street, same food quality, same prices. 18 months ago, one owner said AI has nothing to do with pasta. The other spent one weekend setting up three boring workflows. Today, one of them has a waiting list and the other has a for lease sign in the window. This is a true composite story, and every detail is a lesson. Two owners, one street. Let me introduce them properly. Marco ran the corner place, 20 years, regulars who loved him, food that deserved more attention than it got. Elena ran the newer room three doors down, similar menu tier, similar covers, similar margins thin as prosciutto. Neither was technical. Both were exhausted in the way every owner-operator is exhausted. The fork in the road was almost comically small. A supplier rep mentioned AI tools to both of them in the same month. Marco laughed it off with the line that becomes this episode's title: AI has nothing to do with pasta. Elena didn't disagree. She just asked a different question. What part of my week has nothing to do with pasta? The answer was most of it: captions, replies, menus, rosters, emails. Mark that distinction because it's the whole episode. Marco evaluated the technology against his craft. Elena evaluated it against her calendar. The craft didn't need AI. The calendar was drowning. Elena's boring weekend. What Elena actually did was almost disappointing in its smallness. Workflow 1. Content. Sunday night, phone photos of the week's dishes plus a voice note description went into an assistant with a voice file. Warm, no hashtag spam, sounds like me. And out came the week's posts, scheduled. 40 minutes replaced the daily anxiety of what do I post. Workflow 2. Replies. Every review, glowing or brutal, got a drafted response in her tone within a day. She reviewed each before sending. Several times the draft was too diplomatic, and she roughened it up. Doesn't matter. The consistency was the point. To the internet, the restaurant suddenly looked awake. Workflow 3. The quiet one nobody sees. Menus, roster messages, supplier emails, the birthday party quote template, templated, drafted, reviewed. Call it 5 recovered hours a week. Elena spent them exactly where Marco said value lived, on the pasta and on the floor talking to guests. The gap opens invisibly. For the first 3 months, nothing visible happened, and this is the part every impatient listener needs to hear. No viral moment, no line out the door. Just small compounding. Posts every day pulled a slow trickle of new faces. Answered reviews nudged the rating up a decimal. Recovered hours meant Elena was present on the floor, and present owners create regulars. Marco's decline was equally invisible. He wasn't failing, he was static. Sporadic posts when his niece visited, reviews unanswered, including the unfair ones that fester when ignored. The same exhaustion, uncompounded. By month 12, the gap was structural. Elena's covers up meaningfully a hiring budget, a second Sunday workflow, an email list with a monthly note that filled slow Tuesdays. Marco's story you already know from the hook. Was AI the only variable? Of course not. It never is. But 5 hours a week and a consistent public face compounded over 18 months is not a small variable. Ask any accountant. The 4 lessons. Lesson 1. Evaluate AI against your calendar, not your craft. Almost every AI can't do what I do. Objection is true and irrelevant. Nobody's automating your pasta. The question is the busy work wrapped around the pasta. Lesson 2. Boring workflows beat brilliant ones. Elena never touched the exotic stuff. Content, replies, admin. The 3 most transferable workflows in this entire show, and she'd never listened to a single episode. Lesson 3. The review habit saved her repeatedly. Machine drafts, owner decides, her voice stayed hers, and one hallucinated gluten-free claim got caught before it walked out the door. Lesson 4, the big one. Adoption gaps compound silently, then suddenly. For a year, Marco saw no evidence he was wrong. The evidence arrived all at once, wearing a for-lease sign. Whatever your street is, the Elena 3 doors down has already had her boring weekend. The only question this episode really asks is which owner you're being right now, what happened next, and the question for you. People always ask what happened after the for-lease sign, so here's the epilogue. Marco didn't disappear. He took a kitchen job at a friend's place across town, and within a month, unprompted, asked Elena to show him her Sunday workflow. She did, in an afternoon, because that's who she is. His comment, reported to me later, is the whole episode in one sentence. I thought it was a computer thing. It's a time thing. I always had the pasta, I never had the hours. Elena's trajectory kept compounding in the unglamorous way real compounding looks. The second workflow became 4, the email list crossed 1,000 locals, and when a food blogger discovered the restaurant last spring, the discovery machinery, the daily presence, the answered reviews, the owner on the floor, had been quietly running for 2 years. Luck, as always, arrived addressed to the prepared. Now, the question this story is actually for: what's your version of the supplier rep's visit? Because you've had it? The moment someone mentioned the tools and you filed it under not my craft. The honest exercise tonight. Write Marco's line about your own week. I always had the blank. I never had the hours. And fill the blank. Whatever fills it is your pasta. The craft, the busy work is starving. Elena's weekend wasn't a technology decision. It was a loyalty decision. Loyalty to the pasta over the paperwork. 3 boring workflows. 1 Sunday. Choose which owner you're being while the choice is still yours to make. If you run anything, a business, a side project, a team, do Elena's weekend. 3 boring workflows, 1 Sunday. The setup list is in the show notes. Share this episode with your favorite local business while there's still time for it to be early. And if you want the done-for-you version of all of this, the AI business in a box that hands you today's video, your links, and your system in 30 minutes a day, check the link in my bio or get back to the person who sent you this episode.